Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, or whenever you're watching this. I am back at Alvechurch. We're on Horseshoe Lake today. I've been at Alvechurch for a long time, so fishing the Thursday Open. We're on Horseshoe, and I've drawn peg 18, which you probably can see from the video. Look, peg 18 by my leg. Look, peg 18, really good peg. For those that don't know it, basically it's like the bottom corner of the lake on the right. There's an aerator to my right as well, and I guess just been a corner peg. The wind seems to blow down here quite a lot, and just definitely hold some fish. If you plumb up like 14 meters, it begins to come up a little bit to your left, and I think that's just maybe maybe a little bit of a bar. I don't think it's gravel or anything, to be honest. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it definitely comes up. Maybe a bit more of a harder bottom, but after fishing today, definitely had to put a couple of inches on the pace rig. They were rooting it up, and they were stirring at the bottom big time. It was actually quite dirty when they were turning it over. So fish were hungry. You couldn't like larrapin bait, but yeah, definitely had to feed a little bit to hold them and keep them there. So if you haven't noticed, I just fed down the edge as well. So I fed short first, out in front of me, which is like a top kit +2, which is probably roughly about 6 meters ish. That's probably one of the deepest parts of this peg, to be honest. And then I fed down the edge straight away, and I'm gonna just they give themselves away if I down the edge, to be honest with you. In reflection, looking at this, I wish I sort of ignored the edge, really. Trouble is, drawing a peg like this, you can't really ignore it. I wish I just focused fish in. Pace long, to be honest. They didn't really come short. Effect, a bit of core, not crazy, and they didn't really want it. I've only had one short. Caught most of my fish out in open water. Down the edge, I've had 4 carp and 1 barbel. I've lost a couple, just poured out. I think they fouled up, to be honest with you. When they come in on mass as well. I don't know if you noticed there, I was actually looking at the guy to my right, and I actually felt a tug. I think he even said to myself, note to self, don't bother looking at float.
Note to self, don't look at float.
So unfortunately, that was the only fish I actually caught short. My gear was pretty much all the same throughout, to be honest. I just fished a 2.5 mil triocore Maver elastic, which is 2.5 mil, and it's rated to a 15 to 18 elastic. And then I literally just fished MVR 020 straight through, which is the rig mono line. And I've done the same down the edge. So no messing around. And then hooks, I used a size 12 Guru XS hook for pace fishing. And down the edge, I used the same hook, but I used a size 16. So as in a Guru XS size 16, I just done a knotless knot, just tied it straight through, no messing around, no hook lengths. The weakest part is going to be where you put the loop against your Stomfo or connector or whatever you want to call it. This fish has gone absolutely nuts. It was only about £8, and as Derek Newsom would say, honest to God, this was actually hooked in the mouth. Even Aid was saying, was that foul hooked, and it really wasn't. So yeah, good way of testing my new pole, wasn't it?
A lot of fish moving around, isn't there? It's cagey as well.
So for me, what I've learned on this lake, not that I'm an expert on this lake because I ain't, but in the summer, if you're fishing out long, to be honest with you, when you're feeding pellets, you really want to be fishing paste. If you fish pellet on the deck, I don't know, you just tend to get a lot of sort of missed bites, foul look fish and stuff. I think it's just because the lake's quite old and it's quite silty, fish are quite big, just root around and stuff. I guess your pellets just get wafted around, and obviously if you've got a big dollop of 15mm paste or even 20mm paste, then I guess obviously it just stands out and a bit more sort of heavy in it. And they just take it obviously a lot better. And I guess also I suppose it looks like softened down pellets as well, doesn't it? So I guess then bigger fish just feel maybe it's safer, especially when you fish it long, because a lot of anglers don't tend to fish paste really long. It is a bit frustrating if you start missing bites and stuff, because obviously you got to ship back, whereas if you're fishing hard pellet on a band, then obviously if you miss a bite or anything, you don't have to worry about shipping back. But for me, this time of year on this lake, definitely want to be fishing paste in open water. Don't get me wrong, lots of other methods work. The lad next to me has fished a pellet waggler, and fair play, I believe he's come second in the match. He's had £115. So he hadn't fed a lot of bait, just pinged a few 6mm, I believe, might have been 8s, and then just literally just chucked a pellet waggler against the far bank, and he's had quite a few fish doing that. Other people catch on the method feeder. The guy opposite me is caught on the method as well, and he's caught a few fish down his edge. So there's lots of different methods. Not you got to fish to what you're happy with. A lot of people do catch slapping as well, so slapping can work quite well. But with the bait limits and stuff, because there's a 2 kilo limit, which is ground bait and pellet combined, a 3 pint limit of maggots or casters. So with that, you got to think sometimes you've got to bulk things out. So sometimes it's definitely worth bringing some hemp. And definitely, as you can see, I've brought 8 tins of corn with me. Now corn's only 41p a tin, so it's not like you're buying really expensive bait. Corn is a very good bait when fishing paste on this lake and on the canal lake. So the 2.5mm elastic spot on, in my opinion, especially when you're when you're fishing a puller as well. Because the thing is, if you fish say a 2.8mm hollow elastic, or even something even heavier, which I wouldn't recommend, or if the elastic's too thick or too tight, not be funny, these fish, because it's quite shallow, they kite off really fast. So if you've got real thick or tight elastic, I promise you're going to have all sorts of problems. And a lot of these fish go off so fast. A lot of people seem to think that they're foul looked, and they're not. So my advice to you is make sure you've got quite a soft dish, but obviously quite a soft dish, sort of 2.5mm. So powerful but soft. Yeah. And just started probably about halfway through the match here, and I've just started a loose feed corn. on the 5 meter line, and you sort of know when they're there because when you bring fishing long, sometimes they spook and bow wave off, and also you just know that they're there. You get like vortexes, and sometimes they even turn up a little bit of dirt. Fish don't tend
Look
to
at those there, pearly
blow
ones there.
loads here, like some venues do fish. They blow loads, but didn't have a great deal of blows today. Don't get me wrong, I had a few, but not like loads. Like some venues I fished, like it's like it can be like massive jacuzzis, like Ivy House, for example. So not like big potting. Sometimes like big potting and fishing it out can be best on some venues. I found big potting, and then what you call it? I think I only big potted maybe 4 times, 5 times, and that was sometimes me just what you call it, big potting to go down the edge latter part of the match. But big potting wasn't definitely not the way to go. Basically, big potted it and fish somewhere else for a bit, and then come back over the top. So as you can see, quite lucky the ripples come in to our end of the lake, which obviously is
You catch some
advantageous.
early numbers now or not? Not really.
And just take my
What are
time
you
with the
catching
fish.
as
No
well,
point
are you?
rushing or bullying them. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a race.
It's in the middle of the road bank. Yeah.
Probably carp, probably averaging about £6, probably what I had today.
Sometimes they're a bit smaller fish though, aren't they?
Maybe a tiny bit more, maybe £7. I had a few, probably had four fish between £8 and £10. Didn't have any like real monsters. There's a few in here. And I can't stress enough, when fishing paste on this lake, please don't fish anything less than 018. Because if you do, you're probably going to get broke. You just want that durability as well. So I've had a real nice match. I've had £174 to win the match. Um, yeah, it's been really good. I fed 5 tins of corn and then best part of 2 bags of fishery pellets. Um, so yeah, cheap days fishing really. Fed about a pint and a bit of maggots down the edge. Um, just sort of like binned it off a little bit really. I just felt it's a bit too bright. I think if we had a bit more ripple and stuff, I think we'd have caught a few more. Or maybe if the match was maybe a little bit later in the evening, maybe. But it was pretty hot. It's deceptively hot today, I must admit. I'm glad we did have a bit of breeze. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Um, Obviously, there's lots of different ways I can improve upon, which I will do. Get more angles, more cameras, but it was a bit of a rush to set up as people that know me, I take ages to kit up and take ages to pack away as well. So anyway, look after yourself. There's all the weights. Might want to pause it, then you can see them more. And I'll catch you soon.